Welcome. So this is the What's New at Resolution webinar, where we'll cover a couple of things that are new, new initiatives and programs that we've rolled out, as well as reminders on a couple of standing items. Some other fellows might be joining us. You know, it's different time zones around the world, so we may have a couple people trickling in. But if we can stay on mute during the call, then we'll go over some questions towards the end. We're going to start off with some introductions. My name is Rachel Brophy. I'm the Director of Programs here at Resolution, which means I get to work with Fiona and Manya on a daily basis, which is so exciting. And I'll have Fiona introduce herself, and then Manya will get us started.
Awesome. Hey, Ronald. Hey, Lucianne. It's wonderful to see you both again. My name is Fiona Mills, and I am the Program Manager for Fellow Experience at Resolution. We'll kick it over to Manya.
Hi, Ronald. Hi, Lucian. We've met before. Nice to see you again. My name is Manya. I am the program coordinator here at Resolution, and we're excited to start off today. So thank you, Rachel, for kicking us off. I'll just share my screen right here so we can begin. So today, we're looking forward to sharing with you all the new resources here at Resolution. So here we're going to start off with a brief presentation, which looks of between 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll jump straight right into questions. 1 second on here, I'm just going to start screen sharing. All right, there we go. Sounds good. Rachel, over to you. All right, here we go. You can also definitely follow along. We have the Resolution Resource Portal site in the chat that Fiona just dropped in. So feel free to log on there. The password is there as well. You can definitely log on and have a side-to-side view and follow along for all the resources that we shared today. All right.
Awesome.
Fiona?
Yep.
Sorry.
So we're going to be covering a lot today, starting with some updates to our resource portal. We'll talk a little bit about how to specifically ask for resources such as seed funding or subject matter experts, also known as SMEs. We'll cover some educational opportunities, some new ones, some that you may have heard of already, and connecting with our community through Fellow Council, as well as our brand new database, Salesforce Experience, that we're really excited to share with you all. So we're going to start with some portal updates. If you want to move to the next screen, Manya. Brilliant. So for our fellows who have just started out, which both of you certainly have, so this is the perfect thing to start with, we have a brand new page that is aimed at helping you all start with your resolution guides and help you launch your resolution supported venture.
Sorry about that.
This includes decks from orientation calls, which you've both had with Manya. First calls with Lucian, I know you've had it with me, but Ronald, I'm sure we'll have ours quite soon. So first calls coming up. The decks are there for your reference now and later if you have questions. There's guidance as well on accessing your seed funding and templates to help you track venture expenses. In addition, we also wanted to share some resources for your monthly meetings with your guides. So you're also going to find there an agenda template, some brainstorming prompts, and best practices to make sure that those check-in calls with your guides are really smooth and efficient. Although the page is called Getting Started, of course, fellows who have been working with their guides for years are more than welcome to incorporate these resources as well, if that's helpful. So please do check it out. There's a link there. We're really excited about it. Another thing we're really excited about is some exciting additions to our professional development page, which you can find under the Tools tab. So the first thing to highlight is that if you would like to get a fresh pair of eyes on your resume, you can always request for the Resolution team to give it a review. The one thing to note, though, is that we do ask that you update your resume in advance of using the guidelines. We have a resume tips document that is linked in there that we'd love for you to look at first before sending it in, and then we can look through it and give you some feedback and thoughts. We also have a new dedicated form for recommendations and letters of support for anything and everything you might need them for. So that could be jobs, internships, scholarships, graduate school, anything and everything. You can find that form linked here as well as on the portal. A couple of notes here. So first, please give us at least 7 business days notice to complete these. That helps us write you a really great letter of recommendation. So very much appreciate a little bit of notice there. Secondly, when you're requesting a recommendation, it's really helpful if you're able to share the exact relevant professional and venture updates and a bit of context on why you would be a perfect fit for the opportunity that you're applying for so that we can make the best case possible for you. Finally, we're also really excited to share that we have a new and continuously growing job board. So on the professional development page in that same area, you're going to find a list of global opportunities across Australia, Canada, the UK, and Africa. We are continuing to build that out, so please keep checking back. Of course, if you have any ideas for things we should be featuring, definitely send them our way. We would love to keep building that out with more information from fellows, and we'll keep building it as we have. Shifting into fellow features. So another new and exciting form that we have for you all is the fellow feature form. So we are always actively looking for fellows, ventures, and milestones to share in our monthly newsletter, across our social media accounts, or as speakers at various community events as the opportunity presents itself. So if you would like to be featured in any of these spaces, or if you would like us to proactively reach out to you for any and all speaking opportunities that come up, please fill out the form. You can fill it out at any time. We would love to hear from you. We would love to feature your work. So fill out the feature form request linked here anytime to let us know. So those are the key updates to the portal that we're really excited to roll out. As always, please do continue to reach out to us if you have suggestions for new resources or additional opportunities that we should add. But with that, I'll pass it over to Rachel for some resource specific, how to request all these wonderful resources.
Thanks, Fiona. Yeah, we're going to cover some how-tos. So our first one is how to leverage resources and opportunities. The best way to get resources is check your email. We're going to be sending information out every Friday. Always check the portal and look there for resources. And when you're ready for a resource, these are the 2 forms that you should be utilizing. So the first is the resource request form. These oftentimes are shared directly with subject matter experts. Sometimes you'll see SME written places. That's what it means, subject matter experts. So please be as detailed as possible. We do ask that you submit 1 request form per request. You can submit multiple request forms at the same time. That's totally fine. But because we're going to share these maybe directly with that subject matter expert, it's quite helpful to have the singular request in the same form. Please make sure to fill out the questions field in the form for what you're looking to answer and any research or background that you've already conducted, because that will give the SMEs a really great start to understand where you're coming from, what your specific needs are. The opportunities form is what you fill out when you're applying for an opportunity. Sometimes we can nominate fellows for opportunities. So if you fill this out, this is helping us select among the fellow community who we're going to nominate. But also, we always let our partners know when fellows apply to something. So even if resolution doesn't have a nomination per se, we're still going to let that partner know, hey, this person's applying and they're a resolution fellow. And that can oftentimes be a really big bump to your application. So filling out that form is really helpful because it lets us know and we're able to share that. Both of these forms are also really great data for us. We know what you're looking for. We're able to expand resources in that way. Make sure to check that weekly email. Sometimes this stuff is in Facebook as well on that fellow group. It's also in the newsletter. So just make sure you're looking in all of those places. And make sure to keep us updated on any external opportunities that you're applying to. If you're finding things that you think are other fellows might be interested in, please make sure to go ahead and pass those along as well. So next we'll talk about how to engage an SME or volunteer. So what are SMEs, subject matter experts? They're volunteers who have offered to share their expertise with resolution fellows. Oftentimes you're going to connect with them once you've submitted a resource request form. SMEs can sometimes connect with fellows based on their availability and offer guidance or suggestions on challenges. Once we connect you, the level of engagement is really up to you. However, it's really important to keep in mind that you're not asking them to do hands-on execution. You're not asking them to do the project for you. You're asking for their advice, their expertise. You're not asking them for donations or for legal advice. So just make sure you're keeping within those parameters. And now I'm going to hand it back over to Manya to talk about funding.
All right, so let's get into seed funding. As most of you might be aware, Resolution typically gives out the seed funding in 2 equal installments, so we call that the first and second installment. The first installment you will automatically receive after you have your first call with your guides. But in some cases, a lot of fellows have time-sensitive ventures and they're looking to be supported as soon as possible to implement their ventures activities. In that case, fellows can definitely request their installments in advance or earlier than it usually is with just the first call. In that case, all you have to do is shoot an email to us and let us know why you need the funds early. Make sure that you include how much of the funds you need, what you need it for, by when you need it, and additionally, a breakdown of the expenses that you were anticipating in advance. Moving on to the second installment process. So often fellows will reach a point where they either do not have sufficient funds from the first installment to keep their venture running, or they need to request it in advance because there's no money left. In that case, it can be requested through the second installment form. The second installment form is also linked on the resource portal, which you can find and have a quick go through before you reach the time when you need to submit it. While you're filling out the form, we always stress that we ask the fellows to fill out the form with all their receipts attached, as well as their expense tracker. A guide to all of this is also on the use of grants guideline that is linked on this presentation in the last line, as well as on the resource portal. So while you're filling out the form, it is easier both on your end and our end for us to process your request if all these documents are attached and are as accurate as possible. The last thing we definitely want to note is that for the entire timeline for you to request for your second installment and by the time it reaches your account, we need about a minimum of 4 weeks for that process to happen. On our end, we need a couple of days to read through your request and approve it. But on the other hand, typically for international bank transfers, it takes about 1 to 3 weeks, and that depends on your bank. So if you anticipate that your funds are about to run out and you need to have the funds in advance to keep your venture going, make sure you definitely send out this form a week in advance. All right, with that, we are moving on to some educational opportunities. More on that from Rachel.
Thanks, Manya. Yeah, the first educational opportunity we want to talk about is Little Big Fund. So this is an exciting new opportunity that Resolution's offering to fellows. Little Big Fund was founded by Gail and Abanov. Abi is a fellow, and it's a 6-week virtual interactive course for fellows to learn how to sustain their ventures financially. We just piloted our first round of a sustained program with them, which was exceptional. So it's something we're looking to offer probably twice a year for fellows to be able to take this course for free. So something that's Resolution's providing for you. They'll focus on drafting fundraising proposals, strategies to adapt to pandemic-related challenges, discussions in office hours, best practices for fundraising, panel discussions, including potential funders. So it's a really exciting course. You'll see more information about the next cohort coming out in the next couple of months. Please make sure you're ready for this opportunity when you apply, that this is something that you're looking for in that moment and that you're going to be able to dedicate time to. The cohort is limited, so we'll have to make a selection among the applicants for who's applying, and this is a really exciting thing. It's the #1 request we get from fellows. It's fundraising support. So if you're going to be taking this course and you end up being in the cohort, you are taking a spot from someone else. So just be mindful of that. If that's not something you have time for at that moment, maybe it's not time to sign up for the course yet. But it's a very exciting opportunity. Next, we have the Center for Awareness Training and Development Bootcamp series. So this is, again, a continuation of something we started last year, working with CITD. Aziz Ullah, who was a Resolution staff member and is now at CITD, is developing a webinar for fellows. So this is a couple of different series. The first one will be in June, followed by one in September and December. The June one is called the Enterprise Development Bootcamp. And this is designed for fellows who are newer to their fellowship. So in the past 2 years, if you won your fellowship in 2000 or 2020, 2021, 2022, this is for you. You'll be receiving information shortly. It's a really exciting opportunity to really dive into some of these really exciting topics here. So entrepreneurial attitude, idea creation, product service development, lean canvas model, et cetera. This is going to be really, really exciting and a great opportunity to do that. There'll be the opportunities in September and December will be for ventures that are a little bit further along. So if that's you, just hold tight and that will be coming to you shortly. And now I'm going to kick it over to Fiona to talk some about office hours.
Great. Thanks, Rachel. So some of you might have already connected with some experts during a previous round of office hours. So office hours are held in partnership with our corporate partners like Deloitte and Blackstone. And the purpose of these is to really provide an accessible online version of the traditional office hour, where subject matter experts hold about 25-minute informal discussions on a topic within their expertise and take questions regarding that topic. So fellows can sign up to discuss anything from finance to professional development, impact evaluation, and more. Definitely keep a lookout for all of these opportunities on our Facebook page and the Friday Opportunities email. We will certainly be having more rounds of office hours, so keep an eye out for those. Shifting gears a little bit to talk about our wonderful fellow council. So some of you may have met the council members already, but the council is a group of 16 fellows who represent the global fellow community by acting as a sounding board for the organization and leading some community-based events and initiatives. One really exciting initiative that is quite recent is that the council has launched 3 different WhatsApp groups for fellows to join, some regional and some sector-based that are all linked here. So I would definitely encourage you to join any and all that are relevant to you and your venture. The council also held an event that is linked to one of those WhatsApp groups. So for fellows who are working on or intend to work on SDG 3 and SDG 5, so health and gender, to explore spaces of collaboration and to build kind of a broader platform. So they had the kickoff call last month and are hoping to have regular events and sessions through that, including having, of course, that WhatsApp chat. There's also some regional events that we have coming up. I believe there will be one for fellows in Latin America, the Caribbean, and Central America soon. So definitely keep an eye out for that and all other regions. The council members are always happy to connect. So each member represents one or more regions around the world. You could swap to the next screen. You can see all of the wonderful names. Perfect. So as you'll see, some council members represent 2 areas. That could be if they're living somewhere abroad, but we're always happy to connect you with any of the council members. And they love to chat with other fellows and just have those informational meetings and chats. So please let us know if you would like to connect with them. And with that, I'd love to pass it over to Rachel for our new live database and then lead us into some Q&A.
Fantastic. Thanks, Fiona. Yes, we're going to talk about Salesforce Experience. So this year we launched Salesforce Experience, which is a live editable database where you can network and connect with other members of the community. So it's expanding the functionality of the platform that we've always used for impact evaluation reports. This is formerly called Salesforce Communities, so you may have seen that name in emails or you've logged in. This is the same platform, they just changed the name, so it's Salesforce Experience. To access your account, you log in the same way you would have logged in if you were filling out an impact evaluation report. So there's a link here in the presentation, you log in, you click My Contact. And that's where you're going to be able to see all of your information and be able to update it. So this is updating it live in Resolutions database. So great way to check, is your address correct? Is your contact information correct? You can make all of those changes there. You also have the option to share that information with other fellows, not all that information. So if you look at the chart, which is also linked, you're going to be able to decide if you want to opt in, which is to have select information searchable or viewable by others. If you look at that chart, you're going to see what other people can see and what they can't see. That is standard, so you can't choose one thing that normally is able to be seen and that you want to not have seen. But you can look at the chart and see if that's comfortable for you, or you can choose to opt out, in which case only you and resolution staff will be able to view anything. We do ask kindly that you submit that form letting us know if you want to opt in or opt out. And if we go to the next slide, we'll be able to see what that all looks like. Fantastic. So this is what you see when you log in. You're going to be able to search. You saw that my contact, and then you see contact search. When you go to contact search, you can enter 3 letters of a fellow or guide's name. And if they have also opted in, you're going to be able to see their information. Right now, unfortunately, you're only able to search by name. We may look to expand that functionality. But if you want to know who is in the community, you can always look at the website. You can find all the fellows on the website, all the guides on the website, and then you can search for them in the database. There you're going to find contact information and be able to network directly. So this is really exciting. So making sure your information is updated will help other people network with you, and will help you be able to navigate that. So as we wrap up the webinar today, we want to just do a quick reminder on who you contact for what. Of course, on staff, you're welcome to email anyone. Any one of us is always happy to chat with you and direct you to the right person. But if you're sometimes thinking, who do I ask about? We have a handy dandy chart here. So if you want to ask about becoming a guide, you would talk to Lolo. You want to talk about innovation hubs, you'd reach out to Michelle. Also resources and subject matter experts and opportunities, make sure to reach out to Michelle. She is the person who's going to be able to connect you with those. She's the driving force behind the portal and that Friday email. So if you want to know, who do I ask? How do I get this the fastest? Michelle is always going to be the answer there. Just like Manya is going to be the answer for seed funding. Make sure that you get everything that you need in terms of the funding and resourcing you need there. Toby runs our social venture challenges, so many would have met him through that process. But you ever have a question about that, or someone who's interested, make sure to reach out to Toby. And as Fiona mentioned, she's very involved in the Fellow Council. So if you have questions there, want to connect with anyone, reach out there. There's also a section on our portal that you're also able to navigate and give a little bit more detail as to who we are and how to connect with us. Again, you don't remember, reach out to any of us. We're always happy to connect. And with that, we've reached the end of the presentation. We hope that you've enjoyed learning some of the new initiatives that Resolutions rolled out over the past 6 months, as well as a little bit of a refresher on some things that you may have heard about when you first entered the community. So we have an opportunity for some questions. You can raise your hand or ask in the chat. If you don't have any questions now and want to come back and email us in a week's time with some questions, that's very welcome. If you're watching this presentation, you weren't here live, but you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And with that, I think we can kick it off to some questions here.